Are we seeing the downfall of Airbnb? Our cabin that has been booked in the Smoky Mountains from about 85 to 95% occupancy year round is just not occupied at all. Our prices right now for a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom cabin overlooking the Smoky Mountains is less than a hotel, and I have to beg people to come to my cabin right now.
Airbnb's downfall is quite simple, actually. It's because y'all deviated from y'all original business model, which was to be cheaper and more convenient than hotels. At first, you guys were, but now you just aren't.
Those of you who wanted to buy a new house, get ready, because the Airbnb market is currently crashing. If we look at the Airbnb revenue from last year versus this year, they're almost down 50% in places like Tennessee and Arizona. So that means with this extreme reduction in revenue, we're going to see a lot of rental properties go on the market. Because those people who bought like 8 homes to do Airbnb in, it's no longer profitable anymore. So their homes are just going to be sitting there losing value, so they're going to put them on the market. In 2022 and early 2023, the demand for houses was astronomical and the supply was very low, which means prices were high. But with all these Airbnb homes hitting the market soon, the supply is going to go up and the demand is going to go down, which means prices are going to go down. So if you were someone who really wanted to buy a house in 2022 and, the prices were too high and you were struggling to afford it, I'd recommend you pay close attention to the housing market this year. But it's important to note that this does not mean an astronomical reduction in the price. Where I live in Atlanta, the average home price is around $440,000. As we move to the later months of 2023, we're definitely going to see this graph and this number go down, but definitely not by something like 200, 300,000. But even if the price goes down by, 20,000, 40,000, that's still a great opportunity for a lot of people.
The cleaning fees. One time I stayed in an Airbnb and I got a 1-star review from the owner. You didn't do your cereal bowl. You didn't wash your dishes. What? I paid a $207 cleaning fee. You wash the dishes. America wants to know what the hell is going on.
The downfall of Airbnb is 100% the greed of the hosts, and I stand behind that. It was a great concept in the beginning. It still is technically a great concept. It should be working, but hosts got so greedy. The whole reason you would book it in the beginning is because it was cheaper than a hotel, and it was really good if you're going anywhere with a big group to find a house or something. But then they started with the cleaning fees, all of these ridiculous fees, all of these, like a list of things that you have to do before you even leave. And then people started purchasing extra properties with the whole intention of just putting it on Airbnb. And if you...
Yeah, I'm going to pause it real quick right there. She's not off. Why are hosts asking people to wash the beddings, wash the dishes, take out the trash, clean up the living room, restock the toilet tissue, wash all of of not just the beddings, but also turn around and wash the towels. We want to do that, and then charge you for a freaking cleanup fee. You're crazy.
You're unlucky enough to live in a market where a lot of people do that, it artificially raises up the rent for everybody else. If I'm staying in a hotel, I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to clean anything. I don't have to worry about all those crazy fees. And now it's cheaper than most Airbnbs because they jack the prices up so much. It was a great run, but I don't miss it at all.
I am about to...
Man, I don't agree with her on a point that is just the greed of the host. I believe it also it's the greed and the deception of some people who actually rent the Airbnbs too. Because like I said previously, they will rent the Airbnb, dispute the rental on their credit card, or either dispute the rental with Airbnb to get a free rent time. We call that what, churn in the business, right? Is your churn, is your loss rate. Yeah, you can only experience a high churn but for so long where you got to tap out, So to say it was just host, I don't think it was just host. I think it was also people who rented. People treat things like they treat other people's things like they treat themselves, like they treat their stuff. And that's the sad part about it. If you're dirty at home, we know from your apartment. We know from your hotel rental. We know from your Airbnb rental how you live at home. Because even when I go to a hotel, I still don't leave the hotel room dirty because I didn't meet the hotel room dirty, and I'm just not a dirty person. If I see it and it needs to go to the trash, I'm going to put it in the trash. Some people don't think like that. So the hospitality portion, which a lot of people were running into, like, not even thinking about when they got these Airbnbs, that's the hospitality portion. Some people naturally fail in hospitality, but when you stack that on top of people who rent the place who do bad already, now you create chaos.
This bitch, is she for real? No. So y'all got me so fucked up, because now you charge me at 12 o'clock at night. You tell me that I pretty much spent the night here. You sent me this message at 12 o'clock in the morning, and I've been on the phone with y'all since 9.
Yeah, that was my sister crashing out in the first clip, rightfully so, because this Airbnb was a hot-ass mess.
That right there.
So walking in, everything looked okay, but it had a little funny smell. And then you see this little-ass couch. I'm like, who's supposed to be sitting on that? So I go to the kitchen. The kitchen look okay. The bedrooms look okay. But mind you, I'm just quickly walking through. Everything looks okay. But then I go to the bathroom. The toilet ain't working. Lights flickering. Then my niece points out that it's a crack in the ceiling. I'm like, what the hell? The paint is tripping on the wall. I went to the other bathroom. It's missing handles. The knobs on the drawers was loose. The doorknob was loose. It looked like they was trying to renovate the place, but it didn't go so well. Almost cut my foot. This didn't have any rubber. The shower head looks so disgusting. Got missing blinds like we in the project. This is what really pissed me off. I go to the kitchen. I see cans of tuna. The potatoes is what really frightened me. These sprouted ass potatoes and these dirty ass knives.
This is a double model, and a lot of people didn't see it. It's not just about owning a real estate. It's about being a hospitable person. Hospitable? That's hospitable, right? Yeah. All right, let's go.
Host my last Airbnb guest ever. I have been a Airbnb superhost for the last 5 years, and I am finally calling it quits, and this is why. I started my Airbnb back in 2021, and it was really my major trajectory into being a full-time entrepreneur. I was working a 6-figure corporate tech job at the time, and I literally waited for the day that I closed the loan to submit my 30-day resignation. That's a story for another day, but to get to the Airbnb, and I know other Airbnb hosts are probably going to resonate with a lot of what I'm saying. And I actually think it's important for Airbnb guests to listen to this message, because I don't think a lot of them realize the blood, sweat, and tears that go into being a host. I've been at over 70% occupancy continuously since I started my Airbnb. And it's families who want to have Christmas together who all live in apartments. It's chemo patients who need to have a more comfortable place to stay. It's families who are traveling to visit other families who can't afford to be in a hotel with their kids. It's a lot of people who really truly need the short-term rental market to exist that would not otherwise have the same kind of stay if they were in a hotel, and or having to be staying with family and sleeping on the floor and all of that kind of stuff. So I feel really proud, and I felt really proud about all of the families we've been able to host over the years. And genuinely for me, especially as a mom who travels a lot with my family, and I have 3 kids and a husband and all that kind of stuff, it's really been a labor of love. But here's the thing. A lot of guests, for some reason, have this mindset that because you own an Airbnb, that you must be rolling in the dough. That because you own an Airbnb, that you have a full functioning staff of a hotel. You have just massive amounts of indisposable income, that you're not even a person. My very first Airbnb guest, literally the first person, threw a raging party in the house, literally punched holes through the doors. I was in an absolute panic. It was worst case scenario, as you can imagine. And my experience with Airbnb as the corporate aspect of this is less than favorable. They really do side with guests far more than they side with hosts. Even as a super host, which I earned very early on, I have found that Airbnb would constantly run me over the coals when it came to reimbursements for anything. And people be doing nasty ass shit in Airbnbs. Again, it's this idea, right, that there's not a human on the other side, that there's not a family that's doing this as a business venture, but also to provide a service in the community. So we are finally converting our Airbnb into a long-term rental. I'm also really happy to be able to provide house and a home to a family who has been in apartments. Those kids are growing and need more space.
I saw a video asking why has Airbnb started to fail, and ding ding ding, I know the answer. You turn your guests into employees. I gotta take the trash out. I gotta take the trash to the street.
I'm gonna stop real quick. To expect people to respect your stuff when it comes to Airbnb, I think we ask too much of people. Honestly, I think we ask too much of individuals to come in and to actually act like human beings in the space that they're renting. That's just my opinion. Some people are just dirty. They just are dirty. They're selfish, self-absorbed. They didn't come to have a good time. They came to take something from somebody. They came to scheme something out of somebody's hand. And that's just the way that they're built. Unfortunately, that becomes a reflection on every person that stays there now or potentially will use the service. And that's the thing that kind of jacks me up, because I hear people talk about generational wealth so much, but when you look at how they run their lives, it's like, how can you run your life the way you run your life and still talk about generational wealth? It doesn't, like, the math isn't mathing. Like, to me, generational wealth is less about what you consume and more about your mindset. So when she's right, when you get families, and we were attempting to buy more, but we kept running into people that thought on their thinking was such a low level that they will come and leave the place looking terrible and didn't want to do anything on the list and didn't clean anything, ruin stuff. You go out of business pretty fast. You get out of business pretty fast, man.
I gotta put the dishes in the dishwasher and start that bit. I gotta take the sheets off the bed, take them downstairs, put them in the washing machine, and start that as well. The list of rules be longer than the concierge suggestions. How is that going to work for me? And then on top of that, there's not a lot of brand partnerships that are beneficial to the stayer. Like, at least if I stay at the Marriott, I can get a discount on Lyft rides. At least I can merge that together. Hilton has a merger with Delta Airlines. I think Uber or something like that. Like, y'all don't have no discounts. There's no point system. There's no book 11, get the 30th, book 11, get the 12th one 30% off.
I saw an Airbnb host, she do that, and she actually rented out her Tesla. She put a Tesla with the property, which I was like, damn, a Tesla with the property. So they don't have to go in and use Uber to get around. And just that extra Tesla there, along with, don't get it, you just didn't get it. You got a chance to, you got to rent the Tesla. But I'm like, that's still dope, though. That's still dope, because you can leave it there. You don't have to bother with it. What she's saying is on point. We don't value stack. I didn't value stack when I did that. I didn't see the need for value stacking. I thought, really, there was a level of entitlement. Like, just because I get an Airbnb and I rent it out, it's clean, remodeled, look very good, you think that's enough. But that's really not. One of the things that you really should do is build connections with other businesses that are around you, so that when your tenant comes, when the renter, that short-term person stays there for that short-term amount, you stack value for their stay. A discount at a nearest restaurant, discount on groceries if they're going to put it in there, a access, like I said, to the car, that she did, a discount. Hey, it's Atlanta, we get you into the trap museum. Oh boy, oh no, you get to the trap museum, great. You get 3 tickets to the trap museum. I don't care, whatever it may be, or you can do to stack value. When value is stacked, I notice, whether it's in real estate, business, Alex Hormozy does a great job in driving that home. You now make it harder for a person not to come back or not to stay, or you make it harder for those things. Hint, hint. Look at the description below. Sign up for our off-market property list for Georgia. These are fixer-upper properties that we send out every Friday. And then if you really want to get down with it, just go ahead and click the relocation package, which is free. if you're relocating to Georgia. We cover all the states, all of the counties that are in Georgia, the average rental rates for those counties, and rental rates for those counties and purchase rates for those counties. And where's the best place to actually park your hat at if you're coming to Georgia as a whole? It's not always Atlanta for some people, but that's free. See, give them value where now they stay around. And I don't think business training, that's an unconventional, untraditional, non-traditional business approach. I don't think you can be traditional during this time and expect to actually be successful, because the big box places are doing that and much more. Okay. And if you don't really understand what I'm saying with that, go stay at an Airbnb and then go stay at a hotel and see how much free stuff you get or access to discounted stuff for entertainment in the city at the hotel that you don't get at some of these Airbnbs.
And the only thing that was keeping Airbnb competitive was the fact that it was cheaper than a hotel. But that's not the case anymore. Like, I've got a Charlotte trip coming up, got to do a conference or whatever. And I'm looking at the stuff and I'm like, how am I going to split these 4 days up because I have to be in 2 cities within 4 days? And it's like, I'm just going to do hotels and collect my points and put it towards something else because they don't really have anything to incentivize me to stay at an Airbnb. There's not even additional security. So that's why. Oh, and another thing, y'all PR has been down the drain because every 4 to 6 weeks is some type of video of some irate owner kicking out, coincidentally, black people out of the Airbnb.
So I made a video.
Customer service is big. See, customer service isn't big until something happens. I tell people that it's not big for you. Yeah, you're good with it until something happens, and then you're trying to get it, and you're wondering, why the hell did I stay there anyway? They said they had 5 stars, bro. I can tell you some of the other things on the background that you can do in that Airbnb app that I discovered that will actually stifle any of your comments about those places that you stayed in that you didn't like. Yeah, it'll actually make it where it doesn't show up and people don't see it. Man, I'm telling you, the game is meant to be sold, not told, but I'm telling you, so I don't know what to say, bro.
Several months ago, talking about how Airbnb has just lost their mind and so many of the sellers will price their units so highly and you get really nothing in return for the price that you pay. Well, this is exhibit A, B, C, D, E, F, G until Z, because we walked into a unit last night. We're paying $500 US a night for this unit, and this is probably the most horrific Airbnb that I've ever been to. It's in Aspen, Colorado, actually 30 minutes outside of Aspen. Snowmass. And I just have to show you guys what this is like. So we walk in, and first of all, there's just a man right here. We don't know who he is. He doesn't say a word. He's apparently fixing this, but like doesn't say a word. He's just there. Okay, weird. Then we had to go and leave to go get food, and he was like, well, I'm not finished here, so I'm going to stay here. Who are you? We have to leave all of our stuff now here with you. The Airbnb host didn't tell us that there was going to be someone here, so now we have to leave all of our belongings with a stranger who could have easily just grabbed anything. Cool. Walk in. It's freezing in here. There's no furniture except this. No furniture. Like...
No, there's a chair.
There's a chair. The outlets are literally falling apart. Okay, sure. And then we're like, oh, at least there's a fireplace because it's freezing in here. Let's warm it up. Fireplace doesn't work. Okay. Then we try to warm up the thermostat here. Put it on to max. This is the max amount of furniture that they have, by the way. Like, and nothing of it matches. So I know I thought they got everything for $2 at Dollar General.
See, and this is what I mean by hustle. This is exactly what I mean by just hustle. Like, you just want to throw it together so that you could just get somebody to stay there and just make some money. There's no prior business planning. There's no shame to say that I'm going to have people stay here and they've only got a couch, a TV, and a chair. That's just my opinion. And we put up with this stuff because we're used to actually practicing this stuff in our personal lives. See, I know when I go to certain places, my wife will walk out. She'll be like, what the hell is going on over here? Like, there's only one couch. There's a table. She'll straight tell you, like, that burner's broken. Who's going to sit in that chair that's 3 inches from the ground? See, all these things make sense. And when we sign up and we participate in this type of buffoonery, we get what we get. So part of me is like, that's why I say it's not just the host, it's also the people that's there, but it still does fall on Airbnb to provide a level of consistency to people that want to rent these places.
Anyway, turn the heat on, go over here, no heat coming out. Oh my God, amazing. Okay. Then we go into the bedroom. It's a little bit of a mess. This is the bedroom. This is a double bed in this bedroom. No night tables, no headboard. I didn't realize that I was shacking it up with like a bachelor in like first year college. There's no curtains.
That is like my first year of college. That's the room for my first year of college. That really is. That's the room for my first year of college. And that's also how my bachelor pad looked before I met my wife. Exactly like that. I'm of the belief that there's probably a dude that did this and put this together. I'm sorry, guys. It's the truth. Guys, very few guys actually think about headboards because it's like, hey, I don't have a headboard. Who needs a headboard? Oh, no. Who needs a headboard? Who needs end tables? Oh, no. What do you mean end table? Shoot, I got 4 forks. Why would you need a 5th one? What? Well, hold on. Let's go for a knife. You got 1 toilet roll. That should be good enough. Oh, no. For the whole family. Yeah, we know you're going to be here for 2 weeks, but that 1 toilet roll because you got 1 bathroom. I stayed at an Airbnb. They only had 1 bathroom. I asked my wife, I said, what the hell are we doing here? What the hell? She's like, yeah, it was a cheaper rate. And I said, I dealt with it for a couple of days. But you know a guy put that thing together. They hit it. You know it.
These are like the thinnest blinds ever. So at night, it's so bright I could read a book in here.
That's amazing.
The walls are so thin I could hear a feud that was happening outside, except it felt like we were on the Maury show and it was happening inside our bedroom. The pillows don't even match. The pillows are from Dollar General for sure. They're stained and disgusting. And I'm just like, and even now, we went to sleep last night. It was so bright in here, so loud, so cold. We messaged the host. We end up calling him this morning and we're like, man, what in the world is going on? Because this Airbnb is like 25% of the way done. And he's like, well, this is just what it is. What? Like, we as humanity are losing it if we're okay paying these prices. Like we have to stand up. Like it's out of control. Oh, and also there's no hot water to shower. So at the very least, it's like room temperature. So when I was showering last night, I had goosebumps. Oh, that too. I had goosebumps while I was showering. So try shaving, doing that. And then the best part is that there was a hot tub in the listing. Like in the photos, there was a hot tub. And we're like, okay, amazing. We're like, we'll go to the hot tub, whatever. We get here, there's no hot tub. So we call him and he's like, oh no, there is a hot tub, but you have to get in the car and go to it. And he's like, and when you go to it, it's at this other building, but pretend that you're staying there because it's not part of our unit. So now you have me lying to get to another building, to get to a hot tub, and then come back sopping wet in my sopping wet clothes to then shower here. So that's Airbnb for you.
Airbnb took 400.
Yeah. That's why they definitely need to go out of business. That's a bad host. That is a terrible host. What's worse is while she's telling this, I realize the reason why everything is cold in that house and your water's, the dude doesn't have any gas. The gas is off. That's the reason why. Because if you got cold water and you can't seem to get heat going on, damn, that sucks. Now, you shouldn't be able to rent those things out and the utilities aren't on. Get rich quick.
1,000 houses off their marketplace this year. 400,000. It's imploding. It's an imploding market.
Good. I'm glad they did. It's true. Airbnb did remove 400,000 listings from their platform this last year, and most of them deserved it. Because for the last 5 years, everyone thought that you could just throw an IKEA bed in a room, call it an Airbnb, and get rich. But that era is now over.
I've owned 75 of them.
And I'd say when I look back at my portfolio, maybe 5 of them made consistent money. It's a gamble.
Wow. Okay. Pace Morby, that's another real estate guru type of guy. He is a guru type of guy. He was advocating for a lot of people to do this Airbnb, and you see how many units he had doing it, and only 5 ran consistent. He's not off, because I looked at the consistency of our Airbnb numbers, and it was like non-existent. Sometimes you'll have a week where you'll have a month where people stay 3 weeks, then you have a month where people will stay literally 1 month. Literally 1 month. And that's the problem. That's the problem. Now, I don't blame, like I said, I don't blame a bunch of people for that. I blame it on me. I have to take responsibility for that, because I didn't sit back and map it out as well as I mapped out some of my other stuff. I saw people doing great things with Airbnb, and I said, damn, I've done great things when it came to flipping, wholesaling. Why not Airbnb? Oh, yeah, I'm a master investor. See, you don't get good at investing by just doing stuff perfect. You actually get good by failing. You actually do, because you got to find your lane, and you got to realize you got to pull out all that stuff you really don't want to do. Like, I discovered I hated being an Airbnb host. I loved the model. I loved how it worked, but I hated being a host. And worse than that, I hated managing it. And then when I saw the people that managed it, and I spoke to about 2 or 3 other property managers, because I wanted to put it in the hand of a property manager at one time, I'm like, it's like the cost is so high, the return, the net is non-existent. And for somebody to go on Airbnb DNA, which that is a site that shows you how to project out your numbers for Airbnb, you can create an account, and I don't have a subscription with them, so I'm not plugging them in, but you will create an Airbnb DNA account, and from that DNA account, you're able to kind of get a concept on that property and how much that property you will actually earn off of that property. When I saw the managers do it from that and other ways, I looked at it and scratched my head, because I'm like, damn, I don't see myself making any money. I don't know what people, and I get what people were doing. I'm going to say it again, imitating other people instead of stepping out and finding the strategy that works for you. I am 100% in Real Estate Lunchbox about finding your individual lane, because everybody has a different lane. You'll find out single family homes, they aren't for everybody. They really aren't. And the reason they aren't for everybody is everybody doesn't want to deal with tenants and deal with toilets and deal with springs that occur in front of the house. Man, I had a renter. I have a relative that had a house, and imagine a pipe bursting in the front yard, and it is being rented out, and you're spending $80,000 to fix that. People ain't ready for some of this stuff. I tell them.
He had 75 listings, but only 5 made money. Respectfully, that's not Airbnb failure, that's host failure.
Yeah.
Failure on Airbnb is commonly linked to location, photos, amenities, communication, and overall management. You guys, Airbnb didn't remove 400,000 listings because it's dying. They removed them because guests were tired of dirty homes, bad hosts, and low-effort properties.
And what happens is you have local municipalities are hammering on Airbnbs, and they have. Atlanta, Georgia, completely out. You can have 1. LA, gone. Las Vegas, Nevada, gone.
So I was in Atlanta. My first one was in Atlanta. He's right. They struggled so hard to put the guidelines in place and then to enforce it. And literally, when you went to apply for the license in the city at that time, if you were turned down for like the slightest thing, even if it was something you made an error in doing it, you could not reapply for another freaking year. Oh no. So these are the things that choked out Airbnb. Okay? It was a massive amount of things. It wasn't one particular thing. Even though we want to say it's the host, we want to say, oh, it's the renters, the people that are staying there. Oh, it's Airbnb. It's the city, the municipality. No, bro, it's everything happening at the same time that caused that to happen. But I keep saying it again. Even though it choked out Airbnb, we got to ask the question, why is VRBO still around? Why do we still have short-term rentals? Because there is a way in doing it. And even these people that taught arbitrage, man, I ain't even get onto the arbitrage conversation. They still were teaching a faulty, effed up model. Effed up. I paid for their courses. I listened to some of their courses. I used some of that when I rolled my first one out. But even in that, I said, dude, this still don't make sense. It still doesn't. And that's crazy for Pace Morby Guru to only have 5 out of 75 that actually cash flow.
Phoenix, Arizona, guys.
For the record, Phoenix, Vegas, Atlanta, and LA did not ban Airbnb. They regulated Airbnb, which is a huge difference. The reality is Airbnb is just maturing. They know that there's been problems in the past and they're trying to do better. For good hosts who are going above and beyond and providing that next level experience for their guests, they are thriving. I'm curious, are you seeing Airbnb slow down or are you seeing it get more competitive? Let me know in the comments.
Hey, I'm seeing Airbnb slow down. I'm seeing VRBO pick up where Airbnb fell. And I'm seeing saturation in markets like Texas metro markets, Austin, Atlanta, of course, Atlanta. So New York. So you have to be heavy strategic. And it takes more than just buying a course from somebody that says you can do it, honestly. What still performs? Alpha segments. Segments in major cities, in my opinion, and I'm looking at the stats right now when I'm talking to you, that drive unique housing. Unique. When I say unique, imagine one where you come out and you're on the Beltline. That's unique. That's different because it's not. We have homes in Atlanta all over, but very few homes share the ability to be on the Beltline. And like I said before, stacking value. A lot of people don't know how to do that because they're in I'm a take environment, and opposed to I'm gonna actually give people some stuff, and make it like worth them actually doing this.